your spirit drawing me.
Welcome, welcome, welcome again to another Chit Chat with the girls. Hey, listen, we have our guest. We ain't gonna call you a guest anymore. You're gonna be our fill-in, our fill-in, our fill-in. We have Kina with us, and of course, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Johnson. We're gonna just chit chat a little bit about the word from the sermon. We were still in our sermon series, Currency, and I think we ended it up, but this last part of it was really good.
Amazing.
It was.
It was truly amazing.
It was good, and I hope that what we got out of it, we can share with you guys, and maybe you'll get a little something from what we got out of the sermon series, Currency. And this particular week, we talked about principles of generous life. The principles of a generous life. We're still talking about currency. We're talking about generosity. And now we added in the principles of a generous life. And I really like that because it still was talking about how we should be when we are givers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and that was good. And one thing we've got to understand that when we're talking about currency and generosity, that there are principles. In other words, there are promises connected to those principles. And God is not slack concerning his promises.
No, he is not.
He is not slack concerning his promises. So in talking about that, what should generosity look like?
A cheerful giver.
Yes.
One that wants to give cheerfully and not, with an attitude or anything like that. With an open hand and an open heart as well.
Yeah.
For me, I like giving generously with an open heart because if I can help you with and not look for something in return.
Right.
If I can give you something from my heart, then I'm happy about
Right.
doing that.
And you said a key word, not looking for something in return.
Yes.
And I think we kind of covered that a little bit in the sermon last week where we were talking about if you are going to give somebody something, don't give with the expectation of it coming back.
Correct.
That's not.
Yeah, that's not God, no.
Yeah, that's not a generous.
No.
That's not showing generosity. Give. Just give.
Just give.
Just like Nike, just do it. Just give. Just give. Because there are, again, like we said, there are principles behind that.
Yes.
And then when you follow the principles of God, you realize that, again, God is not slack concerning his promises.
Not.
And his promise in the word is that he will cause men to give unto us, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And I don't know about anybody else, but I like the running over part. That means it's more than I can handle.
That's right.
And I can continue to be a giver.
And be a blessing to somebody else.
That's right. Yeah. So I like that. Now there were some other things, and you gave me what it looks like, what generosity should look like. Now, when he talked about an open hand, I love the demonstration of an open hand because here with your hand open, something can come in, something can go out.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an open hand, then it's like this, and nothing's getting in and nothing's going out.
Yep.
And that's not the way. So I really like that demonstration. We should give with an
open hand.
With an open hand. Yes. We're just chit-chatting about the words and the principles of a generous life. And I don't know about anybody else, but I want to live in a life of generosity. Absolutely. And the only way we can do that is if we follow God's principles. And I shouldn't say this, but I'm really close to another, what do you call it? Milestone. When it comes to my age. Okay. And so the word says our latter years should be greater than the first. Yes. So if we're learning all these things now in our lives, it should make our latter years so much better. Oh, yeah.
Smoother.
Yes.
The transition.
Yes.
All that.
But are we going to still have struggles and troubles and things? Yes, because life happens.
It does.
We're living here and life happens. But you can always look at the bright side of things. Yes. So we want to live as a giver and as a cheerful
Generous,
giver.
yeah.
Yeah, a cheerful giver at
giver.
that, and with an open hand.
With an open hand.
Yes, yes.
That's a good thing, open hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with an open hand. Now, one of the other things I like is we can't live up to our potential if we're not moving in generosity.
That is, yes.
So we can't live up to our potential if we're not moving in generosity. Now, it's all about our attitude
Yes.
and how we're processing what it means to give and what it looks like to give and how it should show on us. And the thing about it is, if we're not moving in that, then where is the potential for growth in our lives?
lives, yeah.
Where is the potential for living a life that others will want to have? In other words, you draw them to Christ. Where,
Yeah.
what if you got to think about what is our purpose?
That is-
What is our purpose on earth? Our purpose is that we know God and make Him known.
Yes.
Yes. And so if we're not moving in those directions, then we're not fulfilling our potential or our purpose. And our purpose, as we make God known, is about helping others. Yes.
Helping others.
Yes, yes. Okay, so those are some of the things I got from the word. Now, tell me some of the things that you came across as some of the things that struck you.
Some of the things that struck me was circumstances and being circumstances don't dictate our attitude of generosity.
Okay.
Kind of like I don't want somebody to give to me from a not so good place. If your heart is not in it, then I don't want it. If I'm asking for it, then I don't want it. Like, don't have an attitude, well, I do have to pay my bills this week, but make sure you pay me back next week. That's not being generous to me.
No, that's not generosity. In other words, you should keep it. You should.
I don't want it. When you give for me personally, if I'm giving to someone, I want to give from the bottom of my heart with good intentions, not with the intentions, if I give you, then God's going to bless me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to give from that place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out here that do that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me go and pay my tithes today so he can give me back my 10% because I really didn't have it to give. But, I don't want to be that but.
Right. Yeah.
So, that's one of the things that struck me.
Yeah, and the thing about it, and you saying that, I think we should realize God don't need our
No, he don't need
10%.
our 10%.
We learned early on
Yes.
that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and everything that dwells within, and that includes us, the birds, the bees, everything belongs to the Lord. So He really don't need it. He's testing our faithfulness, our obedience. Are we faithful to Him? Are we obedient to His word? I mean, we can't follow that little thing. I mean, why would He even trust us with
bigger things?
Yeah. Why would He trust us with anything else? So yeah.
And to piggyback off that, this is a kind of a personal experience for me. I can remember at one point I wasn't paying my tithes. I didn't have I felt like I didn't have enough to pay my tithes. Being a good steward was one of the things that stood out when Pastor Chris preached this Sunday as well, being a good steward. But I felt like I didn't have the money to pay my 10%. And one day I just said, you know what? I'm going to give my 10%. And if my light bill wasn't paid, my rent wasn't paid, my car note wasn't paid, or my insurance wasn't paid, God is going to see me through this because He sees that my heart saw fit to give first to Him. But with that being said, y'all don't go not paying your bills just to tithe. We trust God and stand on His promises. But I just paid my tithes consecutively and just automatic. Whatever I got paid, I just started paying my tithes. And I noticed that my life was much better that way, as far as like things just start happening for me, good things, positive things. Even if it was $5 or $2.50 or $20, $250, He blessed me with opportunities and doors that open in order for me to fulfill, to continue to fulfill being a good steward.
He will never leave us
you nor forsake us. Yes, ma'am.
Not at all. And again, it's just, where's your faith in God? You can't take and read part of the word and stand on part of the word if you're not going to stand on all of the word. And so you have to have that faith, that unshakable faith, that unmovable faith in God, that if I do this, I know God's got me.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and that's what it's all about. And again, he doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't.
He's the creator of all things.
Of all things.
He don't need it. He's just testing our faith. So yeah, and that's good. I've heard people say, well, I'm going to make up my tithes. I didn't pay them this week, so I'm gonna make it up next week. You know, to each his own.
To each.
But to me, you missed it.
Yeah,
you missed it.
I'm giving
week.
first. I'm giving first.
But it's a good thing you feel in your heart, yeah, that you need to make it up. But for me, it's no makeup because you didn't pass the test.
You missed the mark. You sure missed the mark.
But it's a good thing when people get into doing that and understand that it's a principle. It's a principle of God.
And I guess my collaboration to that was when I wasn't giving with my heart and giving, feeling like I couldn't give my tithes. I didn't feel good about that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good about that because in my mind I wanted to, or in my heart I wanted to, but my mind was telling me something completely different. You got Duke Energy getting ready to call you. You got the gas people getting ready to call you, but my heart wasn't there. Now it is.
So I mean, there's so many, and we have to understand that tithing is in the Old Testament.
It is.
So when we talk about giving a tenth or 10%, I mean, there are other ways people can give other than their money.
Right.
And that's give some of your time. Begin to serve.
Yes.
Because I mean, not everybody has an income. I've ran across people that don't have an income, but
they
still
live off of a fixed income.
But they still are willing to give of
Absolutely.
themselves. And I believe when we were talking about the gift that comes from a lifestyle of generosity, we were talking about give yourself to the Lord and then to others. So when you can give of yourself, whether it be in some type of service to the Lord or servicing others, then you're still being generous. You're still being generous. So I want people to understand, yes, we're talking about currency. Yes, we're talking about money, but it's deeper.
It is deeper than that.
It's deeper than that. It goes deeper because we've got to begin to give of ourselves. How else are people going to understand, or how else are people going to see? How else are people going to believe that there is a God if we don't act like we serve a God? And I think that's very big because the word says, men will know that you are my disciples for the love you have one for another. And if we can't love one another and serve each other and serve others, then we're not demonstrating the love of Christ in our life.
Not demonstrating generosity to one another.
No, absolutely. Not at all. Yeah, so anything else? Because I do want to go over one of the scriptures that he used that I thought was excellent. And it also hit me, but another thing that was said was given is measured in attitude and effort, not in dollars.
Yeah.
And that's what I was just saying. Mm-hmm. So that is something. So given is measured in your attitude and your effort, and not in dollars. No. You think about the woman that gave the mite, which is the penny. God honored that.
Yeah.
He honored that above the big givers.
The wealthy ones.
Yeah. So we got to think about it. And it was because of the way she gave, her attitude in giving. That's right. So y'all, we got to get this together.
Absolutely.
We really do.
Yes.
So this was really, really a good sermon series. And it taught us about generosity, about currency, and how we should be givers, cheerful givers of what God has allowed us to be stewards over. And that comes to the last point that was given. And it said, when it comes to stewarding resources, accountability is expected. So there should be some accountability in your life. So, and what am I saying? Somebody else should know and understand that you are a generous giver, whether it's of your time, whether it's of your money, whether it's of your service, it doesn't matter. But somebody ought to be able to know that, or hold you accountable,
Yes.
and know that you are walking in those principles of generosity.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Yes, yes. And that scripture I want to get before we close out. Thank you for being here. This was
You're
good
welcome.
chit chatting. So
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate it. Was in 2 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 9, and it started at verse 6, and it says, remember this, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop. But the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. So I thought that explained it all. Hold on to your stuff if you want to. That's totally up to you. But remember, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop. But the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. And I really like that. That's in 2 Corinthians 9, verse number 6. Hold on to that. If you didn't hear nothing else that we have been up here chit-chatting about, you hold on to that. Because that is the word. And think about what it is that you're doing when it comes to generosity. All right. That's it. We're wrapping it up. We thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for having me here today.
We'll have you back.
Yep.
We'll have you back with Chit Chat with the girls. So tune in again as we unwrap, break down what we got out of the word. Be blessed.
It's that great